Hello, lacrosse friends, and welcome to the Tewaarton Lacrosse League Draft. I am Stephen Stamp, joined by Tanner Fetch here at Lacrosse Link, and Lacrosse Link is proud to be presenting the draft. We will go through all of the picks. For the first 3 rounds, we'll go through pick by pick and have a bit of a chat about each player that's been selected by each of the 4 teams. And then for the 12 rounds after that, to make up the 15, we'll show the 4 players picked in that round, and we'll just have a talk about a player or so from each round. So we are pretty much ready to get rolling. It's going to be a quick draft, lots of talent being selected this evening for the TLL Draft. Fetchy, you want to start us off with the top overall pick and first ever taken in the TLL entry draft?
Well, in the TLL entry draft, first pick, first round, first overall, Six Nations would like to select Alex Simmons. He's a righty offense, born in 1999 from Lincoln, Ontario. He's played 3 years in midfield at the University of Denver. He's played St. Catharines Junior A, and he's 5'11", 180 pounds. He's rated number 16 freshman overall at Inside Lacrosse Power Rankings, and he's had 55 points in 14 games in the 2021 season.
And Simmons, who went second overall in the MSL draft this year, and he's a very talented player, smaller player, absolutely tons of talent, averaged over 6 points a game in his last junior season a couple of years ago when we were all able to play. So an immensely talented player to start off this draft. With the second overall pick in the draft and the first pick ever for the Oshawa Knights, they are proud to select Kyle Waters from Orangeville, Ontario. Waters and Simmons flip-flopping. They're reversing from the MSL draft where Waters went first to Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. He is also a very talented player, maybe not quite the high skill level of Simmons, but Waters, a big, strong athlete with a lot of skill nonetheless, and the kind of guy you can really build your forward line around.
He's had 16 points in 5 games as a rookie in 2020. And he's had 2016, 2017 Founder Cup championships with the Orangeville Northmen, so he knows what it takes to win. He's definitely a nice addition to the Oshawa team. And with the third overall pick in the TLL entry draft, Tri-City would like to pick Seth Van Scheppen, lefty offense from Brampton, Ontario. 6'5", 185 pounds of pure muscle, and he's a sophomore with the Siena Saints. 230 points in only 78 games played in the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League. So he knows how to find the back of the net. Definitely a guy you want on your front door, front gate on the attack.
And Van Scheppen was the first player from that very potent Brampton offense to be selected. You got to think there are going to be some more going. He's also the first player not born in 1999 drafted. We've had all forwards so far, but Van Scheppen, a 2000 birth year, so the first of that year to go. And again, very talented, definitely a nice addition to start your team with. The fourth pick looks like the trend will continue on the offense as the first pick for the Burlington Blackhawks, 4th overall in the draft, is Thomas McConvey from Toronto, Ontario, another big lefty forward, extremely talented. He actually led all Ontario Junior A players in goals and points in 2019. And it wasn't just that he played more than other guys. He had the highest goals per game and points per game among guys who played more than about 10 or 12 games. So, or more than just a handful of games, right? So he's a very talented player, a guy that people are looking at and saying, hey, big, talented lefty. No wonder he's so high.
6'4", 210 pounds, stature like Mark Matthews, right? He's American East All-Conference second team in 2019 and American East All-Rookie team in 2019. Like you said, 105 points in 20 games. He's lethal. The 5th pick, Burlington would like to select Austin Hassan, right offense, born in 2000 from Brampton, Ontario. Again, another guy that can find the back of the net with 79 points in 19 games with the Brampton Excelsiors, and the year before, 43 points in 18 games. These two guys go hand in hand when they're finding the back of the net. Stamper?
And Austin Hazen, probably a better offensive player than his dad, but a great bloodline. Mike Hazen, of course, the coach of the Rochester Nighthawks and of the Peterborough Lakers, and one of the real all-time great defenders who have played in the game. And So Austin is taken up where his dad left off in a lot of ways, but I think Mike would tell you Austin might have a little better touch around the net. With pick number 6, the run on offense continues. The Tri-City Havoc select Tanner Buck, a lefty forward from Orangeville, Ontario. And Buck is a guy, a bit of a smaller forward, but this is a guy who I think was underdrafted in the NLL draft. He went 60th overall. He is extremely talented, a really broad range of skills. He can shoot, he can pass, he can do a lot of things. He played very well against men in the Arena Lacrosse League with the Toronto Monarchs, and he was one of the Monarchs' leading scorers. I believe he was second on the team. And he also, he's got a really high lacrosse IQ, and I think he's going to be a great player.
I agree. We've had the pleasure of watching Tanner play at the World Junior Championships in Saskatoon, where he did win a gold medal in 2018 and was on the all-world team. He's also won a Founders Cup and a Minto Cup. So this guy adds a bunch to his accolades, and he is an offensive threat whenever he has the ball. He's someone that the defense needs to watch out for. He is 5'8", 155 pounds, like you said, a little smaller, but guys like Darren Fleury did in the NHL, guys like Tanner Buck will do it in the NLL. And next up for the 7th pick, Oshawa would like to select Keelan Pilon. He's born in 99, St. Catharines, Ontario. He's communications major at Queen's University. Again, another small guy with 5'9", 165 pounds. And he's played 7 games in the NCAA in 2020, where he scored 11 goals and 15 assists for 26 points. So again, he can find the back of the net. It's not like some of the other offensive threats in the previous rounds with 105 points in some games, but this gentleman, as he grows, will continue to be a threat.
Yeah, Keelan Pilon, very talented, just a tremendous smaller player again, like you said, but similar to his teammate Alex Simmons from St. Catharines. So Keelan Pilon, a nice addition for the Oshawa Knights. We get to the 8th pick in the draft, and the first non-forward for the Six Nations Arrows take Landon Kells, a goaltender from Elora, Ontario, and he is a beauty. Plays for the Calgary Roughnecks in the National Lacrosse League. They're pretty high on him. He was brilliant for the Elora Mohawks in their run to win the Founders Cup a few years ago. He then spent 2019 with the Peterborough Lakers Junior A Club, and he faced a ton of rubber there, and he kept them in games. He was very good. He's just a really bright prospect between the pipes, and the Arrows are setting themselves up well in net.
I'd have to agree, Stamper, and I think working with the likes of Del Bianco in the National Lacrosse League is going to give him that extra help that he needs to succeed in this league. Like you said, he did play some Junior A ball in the previous season, and he said when personally talking to him that it was a big jump from Junior B, but he got used to it. He got comfortable between the pipes, and he felt right at home, and that's what he needs to take the TLL by a storm. Now with the 9th pick, Six Nations would like to select Matthew Wright. He's transitioned 2001 born from Oakville, Ontario. He plays in the University of North Carolina, where Michael Jordan played. He's named to the college all-freshman honorable mentions list. Finished the shortened season with 2 points only, but 4 caused turnovers and 20 ground balls. So he's a ground ball hog. He's someone that you can rely on to force turnovers and scoop the Lucy and get it up the floor quickly on the transition.
There's like a million great lacrosse players have gone to UNC, and you're going with Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, baby, he's the best.
He was great. Matthew Wright is a very good player. I love his all-around game. He's smart. He's athletic. The high lacrosse IQ. He's got smart grit. I just think he's a tremendous addition, and he's pretty skilled as well. So I really like that pick as well. The first defender transition player to be selected. We go to pick number 10, and the Oshawa Knights take goaltender Cam Dunkley from Caledon, Ontario. And Dunkerley, a guy with the Saskatchewan Rush, they are very high on him as a goalie of the future. They really like what he brings. He has had success. He helped the Victoria Shamrocks get to the Minto Cup finals, played very well for them. He's an Orangeville guy. He's just a guy who's been very steady and really shown a smaller guy, but he just fills the net very well, plays his angles, really smart and solid goaltender.
Stamper, again, with him training under veteran Evan Kirk and on the championship caliber team, the Saskatchewan Rush, he's really going to soak that all in and be able to bring that to his game. You got Matthew, Shatler, Churchy, shooting on you in practice, it's only going to make you better. And maybe he'll see some NLL experience that transitions him into the TLL product that he's going to be. With the 11th pick, Tri-City would like to select Tyler Halls, a defenseman from Caledon, Ontario, 6'0", 200 pounds. He played with the Orangeville Northmen Junior B Founders Cup Championship teams in 2016 and 2017. We've seen a few of those guys go in this draft already. So they are producing players like Halls that can deliver championship product to the floor.
Another guy who has been drafted by the NLL has got some experience playing at higher levels, and that's got to help when you come in, especially given the way that the first season is going to play out. So you want guys who are coming in ready to play. So I think that's a nice addition for them. We move on to the 12th pick, the final pick of the third round. Things are going quickly, and the Burlington Blackhawks select Cam Wires, a lefty defender from Ottawa, Ontario. And he is a guy who went really high in the Major Series Lacrosse Draft. He actually went 8th overall, the second pick of the second round, which surprised me a bit. But when I talk to people in the league, they say, no, he's big, he's gritty, he's got some edge, he's smart, he's got some skill, and he's a guy that people are really high on in terms of having a huge upside down the road in the game.
And when you look at him in the American game, the Loyola Greyhounds said that he continues to be the best one-on-one cover defenders within the nation. He's caused 5 caused turnovers in his last 5 games. Well, they only played 5 games because it was a shortened season, right? So as he continues to grow and continues to develop, he is going to be something that the Burlington team is going to be pretty happy with. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Why aren't you clicking the link below to visit lacrosselink.com?
Hi, this is Jaden with Al Anderson Source for Sports. Excited to tell you that we got all our new lacrosse product in for this upcoming season. Whether you're playing box or field, our lacrosse experts are going to make sure we get you into the right equipment to elevate your game. At Al Anderson Source for Sports, we know our stuff.
And now we're going to move into the 4th round. 13th overall, Burlington would like to pick Justin Sykes from Oakville, Ontario. And with the 14th pick, Tri-City would like to pick Zach Deacon from Orangeville, Ontario. 15th overall, Oshawa is going to pick Tom Whitty from St. Catharines, Ontario. And 16th overall, Six Nations would like to pick Phil Mazuka from Oakville, Ontario. Again, lots of great names here in the 4th round that go, but Justin Sykes really popped out to me. He's playing in Long Island, New York, 6'3", 195 pounds. He's got the CA Commissioner's Academic Honor Roll. And within the box game, he's played with the Mimico Mountaineers last season with 62 points in just 19 games.
Yeah, Zach Deacon jumps out to me there. I think he could be the first defender taken in the coming NLL draft. He is a terrific, not the biggest player, but gritty, smart, the typical Orangeville guy. And I think he's just a pretty good deal where they got him in this draft. We're going to move on now to the 5th round. And again, we will run the 4 players down for you. So taken 17th overall by the Six Nations Arrows, Chris Weir, a righty defender from Niagara, Ontario. 18th, the Oshawa Knights select Brad Lyons, lefty defender from Clarington, Ontario. At 19, Tri-City takes Carter Zavitz, a righty offensive player from St. Catharines. And 20th overall to round out the 5th round, Matthew Sykes, a lefty defender from Oakville, Ontario. And again, in this round, the guy that jumps out to me, Matt Sykes, is a great deal. If he, if he comes and is part of this club, plays for the San Diego Seals, they're very happy with him. He was the 3rd overall pick in the MSL draft, very high caliber player. Also, I think Brad Lyons, who was a Toronto Rock draft pick, and, we saw him just rip it up at the World Juniors when he had 2 hat tricks, including one in the gold medal game a few years ago. And he's a hometown boy for the Knights, being from Clarington. So, some nice picks there in the 5th round.
Now moving on to the 6th round, 21st overall, Burlington would like to pick Owen Hiltz from Peterborough, Ontario. 22nd overall, Tri-City would like to pick Owen Grant from Newmarket, Ontario. 23rd overall, Oshawa is picking Peyton Cormier from Oakville, Ontario. And 24th overall, with the final pick of the 6th round, Six Nations would like to pick Nonkin Thompson from Akwesasne. Again, that one stands out to me. It is Thompson. He's playing with the Halifax Thunderbirds, or he's drafted in 2020 and finished his first season in the NLL, collecting 30 loose balls in 10 games. He was picked 38th overall in 2019, He's played 48 games with the Akwesasne Indians, collecting 25 goals and 40 assists for a total of 65 points. He's lethal. That's a steal of a deal late in this 6th round for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big Nungo Thompson fan. We got to see him at World Juniors, and he's played a lot of Junior B lacrosse, so you don't always get the same level of visibility as if you're playing Junior A, but his time in Halifax, he showed a lot of upside. A bit of a learning curve. He definitely made some mistakes in Halifax that they were like, they were mistakes of excitement, enthusiasm, and you can handle those. You work forward from those. We will move on to the next round, round number 7, and back to the Arrows. They will take Michael Jackman, a lefty defender from Oakville, Ontario. With the 26th overall pick, the Oshawa Knights take Sam Firth, a lefty forward from Ottawa. Then 27th overall, Tri-City takes Owen Friesen, a ready defender from St. Catharines. And rounding out round 7, the Burlington Blackhawks take Jonathan Peshko, a big righty forward from Dundas, Ontario. And again, one guy that jumps out for me is Sam Firth, one of the most talented, most productive players in this draft. Ripped it up in Junior B with the Nepean Knights, went to Orangeville, helped them to win a Minto Cup, and he is an NLL draft pick. When he was in Junior B, the only guy who outscored him was Marshall Powless, who had 151 points that season. Firth put up 118 for Nepean. He is brilliantly talented. He's a great shooter. He's a really good all-around offensive player.
Again, I'll add Owen Friesen jumped out at me. He's the Halifax Thunderbirds 48th pick in the 2020 entry draft. 5'10", though, a little smaller again, 200 pounds. But he is a 4-time national champion for Team Ontario. He's played under good coaches. He played in good programs. He played football as well. He brings a lot to the table, being a multi-athlete person. I think that'll help his game. And as he continues to grow, maybe puts on some size, he will be a threat here in the TLL. Moving on to the 8th round, 29th pick overall, Burlington would like to select Carter Begley. 30th pick overall, Tri-City would like to pick Dustin Pratt from Orangeville, Ontario. 31st pick of the 8th round, Brett Hamzer from Huntsville, Ontario. 32nd pick in the 8th round here, Six Nations would like to pick Mason Kamiga from St. Catharines, Ontario. And that brings us to the closing of the 8th round. Again, lots of names popped out at me, but Dustin Pratt signed a 2-year deal with the Nighthawks in 2019. He was selected by Rochester in the 2nd round, 32nd overall, 2019 NLL entry draft. He brings a lot of experience with his Junior A ball with the Orangeville Northmen, 45 regular season games and 28 playoff games, and a Minto Cup ring on his finger. He's going to be someone in the TLL who makes a mark early on here.
Yeah, Pratt also went 7th overall in the MSL draft. So obviously people paying attention, seeing what he can do. And there's some still good players, obviously, at this point in the draft being picked. I think there's a lot of talent that is being selected by these teams. We go to the 9th round, and the Six Nations Arrows will lead it off with pick 33, Sam Leclerc, righty forward from Welland, Ontario. 34 is Oshawa selecting Owen Cook Down, a lefty defender from Scarborough, Ontario. At 35, the Tri-City Havoc take Braden Maia, a lefty forward from Windsor. And at 36, Aidan Walsh, another goalie selected. He is from Oakville, going to the Burlington Blackhawks. And I think Sam Leclerc is a guy that just jumps off the page for you. I mean, he can absolutely rip it up. Watching him at the World Juniors, where he was playing with Hazen, Van Scheppen, and Pilon, guys we've already seen picked in this draft, he actually led Canada at that tournament in both round robin play and the playoffs. He's a very talented player.
And then Aidan Walsh from Burlington. I think we've only seen 3 to 4 goalies go here, so they're hard to come by in this draft, as people are adding the offense and defense first as their priorities here. But he has an 84% save percentage, so he knows how to stop the ball. He's from Oakville. He's a big boy, and I think he's going to be a nice addition between the pipes for Burlington. As we move into the 10th round, Burlington goes back-to-back with the 37th pick, John McConvey. He's a lefty transition. 38th overall, Tri-City would like to pick Marley Angus from Oakville, Ontario. 39th overall, Oshawa picks Joe Zabo from Milton, Ontario. 40th pick, Six Nations picks Zach Belter from North Tonawanda, New York. And that finishes off the 10th round here. Again, lots of good names being called here, but John McConvey, he was a University of Vermont freshman, played in 15 games, 8 starts, and he finished the year with 8 goals, 13 points. Again, that was just as a freshman. As he continues to grow, I think he's going to be someone that Burlington likes to add to their offensive threat. And again, that guy can force turnovers, pick up loose balls, and bring the ball up the floor.
I like to note Zach Belter, you mentioned, from North Tonawanda, New York, the first player from outside of Ontario taken in this draft. So, North Tonawanda getting in on the act, and that's pretty cool to see guys from, from upstate New York being taken. That will take us to round 11, and the Six Nations Arrows will go with Keldrin King, righty transition from Akwesasne. Then at 42, the Oshawa Knights take Liam Limoges, righty forward. At 43, Tri-City Havoc take Nathan Grennan, a lefty forward from Ottawa. And 44th overall, Burlington selects another lefty forward, Hudson Thompson. And the one that jumps out to me is Nathan Grennan. I've got him as a potential first-round pick in the NLL draft. In I believe it's 22. I gotta remember. No, it's this year. 21. He's in the draft this year, and he's going to be joining Seth Van Scheppen, a guy that he was playing alongside of in Brampton, who was Tri-City's first pick, 3rd overall, and he is lights out, a very good player.
I have to agree. Keldrin King did stand out to me with his points: 48 points, 17 games played in the 2019 season, 2018 season, 41 points, 20 games. That's a guy I'd like to have. He's marked as a transition in this league. So if that's a transition guy who can put the ball in that often and that frequently, you love to see it, right? As we move now into the 12th round, 45th pick, Burlington would like to pick Jackson Raposo from Toronto, Ontario. 46th pick, Tri-City would like to pick Curtis Conley from Ottawa, Ontario. 48th pick, Six Nations picks Chase Cosgrove from Windsor, Ontario. And that brings us to a close here in the 12th round.
I'll jump in.
All right.
I'm a big Curtis Conley fan. I think he's a great value pick at 46 stars for the Trent Excalibur. I still remember watching him rumble up the field and score a huge overtime goal in a Piscataway Cup game. He's a sturdy Toronto Beaches product who, he's just a solid, gritty two-way defensive player who can get up the floor. And I think a pretty nice addition at 46 overall in the draft. We move on to round number 13. And the Six Nation Arrows back on the clock with the 49th overall pick. They take Greg Elijah Brown from Southwold, Ontario, just south of London. At 50, Oshawa Knights take Tyler Hendricks from Ottawa. At 51, Jonathan Gallardi goes to the Tri-City Havoc. He's from Oakville. And at 52 to round out the 13th round is Mike McCannell from Orangeville. And to me, McCannell is the guy, just jumps off the page. He was a first rounder in the MSL draft. He's got a potential to be a first round NLL draft as well. Very talented, very smart, very athletic, great two-way player out of Orangeville. And I think he's an absolute steal at 52. You're obviously always balancing how likely are guys to be available, how they're going to fit into your team. But I think it's huge for them to get McCannell at the final pick of the 13th round.
I have to agree with you, Stanford, there. And again, like we said, Orangeville's been producing a lot of guys in this draft. They produce winners, guys who posted founders, guys who posted Minto Cups. They come ready to win, ready to play. I think McCannell is an absolute steal. All right, and welcome to the 14th round here in the TLL Draft. The 53rd overall pick goes to Burlington with the back-to-back pick. They pick Lane Hureska from Saskatchewan. With the 54th pick, Tri-City picks Sam Haynes from Halton Hills, Ontario. The 55th pick goes to Oshawa. It's Jacob Martino from Oakville. And the 56th pick to round out the 14th round goes to Six Nations. They pick Cam McDonald from Ontario as well. Who popped out to me? Lane Hureska, the goalie from Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan-born player, and the highest ever Saskatchewan player to be drafted in the NLL entry draft. He went in the first round of 2020. He just signed a 2-year deal 2 days ago. He's had a significant showing in the Arena League with 7.57 goals against average and goalie of the year. And he did a similar feat with the Saskatchewan SWAT in the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League, where he did claim goalie of the year and went on to play in the Minto Cup.
Yeah, Hureska's a beauty. Great pick there again, of course, being in Saskatchewan, but he has played in Ontario, obviously, with the Whitby Steelhawks in the Arena Lacrosse League. So they're going to hope that he's around to play. And a pair of goalies taking that one with Sam Haynes going as well. And he's one that I know some people have their eyes on. We will move on to the 15th and final round of the 2021 Tewaarton Lacrosse League Draft. Picking 57th, the Six Nations Arrows take Rory Graham. At 58, the Oshawa Knights take Brody Cascanet from Owen Sound. And at 59, Tri-City takes Zach Kearney from Georgetown. And the final pick of the 21 TLL draft at number 60, Mike Robinson of Peterborough, Ontario, going to the Burlington Blackhawks. And Robinson, interesting, last year he had a 9-goal game at Delaware where he was absolutely ripping it up for the Blue Hens. Of course, he is chasing some records set in Delaware by a fellow Peterborough native you may have heard of, John Grant Jr. I don't think he's catching many of those records, but he is chasing them, as most people tend to do. I loved when somebody asked Robinson about that. He said, he's like the greatest ever. I would never compare myself to him, but it's neat just to be mentioned in a similar situation. So I love that he also lists his career ambition as being the Prime Minister of Canada.
Well, thanks so much, fans, for joining us on the first ever TLL entry draft. That brings us to the close of the draft. A lot of great names, a lot of great athletes were called. The season will begin August 12th to 19th. It's an 8-day format. We're going to see how things unfold and the location of where that is. So make sure you stay tuned on the TLL website or on lacrosselink.com. I'm Tanner Fetch, joined by Steven Stamp. Thanks so much.